Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter, and we are at the 19th Annual Melbourne Independent Filmmaker Festival at Premier Oaks 10 Theater in Melbourne, Florida. We're hanging with author, documentary, filmmaker, adventurer, Bob Brown. Bob, thanks for hanging with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we were talking a little off camera. You have 5 books, 4 published right now.
Yep.
And just a slew of things that you're doing. So we're just going to dive into your life.
Okay.
Because it's good to be Bob.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, so let's talk about your books.
Okay.
Tell us about your books.
How I got into writing books is I'm a house painter. I've been painting for like 40 years, and I started listening to books on tape. And it was a great way to pass time, and finally one day I go, I'm going to give this a shot. So I'm a surfer, grew up in Florida, Cocoa Beach, Florida, surfing a lot. So I decided I was going to write a fiction book on surfing.
Okay.
So I did that. It's all done, but I never published it. While I was doing that, my brother invited me to go on a boat trip because he couldn't get anybody else to go. It's a 21-foot flats boat, and this is in 2007. He was going to go from North Carolina to Bermuda and back to New York City in this 21-foot flats boat, and the guy going with them, his family talked him out of it 3 days before they were supposed to leave. He calls me up. He actually called my wife. My wife said no way I could go, and he calls me the next day, and I said sure, I'll be there. Long story short. And while we were there in Bermuda, we made it there, everybody wanted our autographs. We were in the paper, all that kind of stuff. So I said, whoa, I'm writing the wrong book. So I put that surf book on hold and started writing Bermuda Suicide Challenge, which is what our trip was, the first trip.
Oh, Bermuda Suicide Challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then the route was from here.
From North Carolina.
From North Carolina.
We drove it up to North. He picked me up. I was on a camping trip.
Okay, to Bermuda.
Right.
And then to
New York City. 1,500 miles. We got 2 world records for that.
And what kind of a boat?
It's a 21 open flats boat. It's a fishing boat. No cabin, no keel.
Just the open.
It's shallow water. Boat's designed to go in this deeper water, and we're out in the ocean.
And you put it out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to grab a picture of that and spin it up over here so people can take a look at what the boat. Okay. So now, and of course your wife said no. No way. No way. And you went anyway.
Yeah. Long story short, yes.
Yeah.
I paid for that for quite a while, by the way.
Gentlemen, learn. You will pay for these kinds of things. So now, in addition to writing about this stuff, and now this is not the only adventurous moment. You've done a lot of other stuff.
I've been everywhere. I've been the top of. I'm kind of a mountain climber. Used to be, more or less. Camped at the base of Mount St. Helens for the top blew off. Climbed up top of that. I've been motorcycle trips all around pretty much United States.
Now you're also a documentary filmmaker.
Yes.
And what do you focus on in your documentary?
Well, actually, when I did my second boat trip, I'll tell you that real quick.
Yeah.
When we did the trip to Bermuda, everybody said my brother got lucky. We took a boat in 9-foot seas, made for shallow water, and everybody goes, "You got lucky, you can never do that again." So my brother calls me up and goes, "Hey, you want to go across the Atlantic?" And I said, "Sure."
Cross the
So he goes, "We're going to be going through the Arctic. Are you still ready to go?" And I said, "Sure." So we planned the trip or whatever. Took a year to fundraise.
Out there on YouTube, guys, I mean, that is not something that someone native to Cocoa Beach is accustomed to, the Arctic. Yeah. We don't know anything about that Arctic thing.
I brought a surfboard with me because I knew I was going to write a book on it because I'd already written the other 2 books. And so I brought a surfboard because I figured we'd see an iceberg somewhere on the trip. That was my goal. I thought we'd be lucky to see one. So I paddle out, take some pictures of the boat with the iceberg, and then I Photoshop myself back in the boat, in the picture. We saw over 3,000 icebergs on that trip. Greenland is just covered with the icebergs all around it.
Yeah, it's Greenland. It's wow.
And the first iceberg we saw was off of northern Canada.
Okay. Now, have you documented these things?
Yes.
That's what you're filming?
Yeah, I filmed a 14 episode series, 47 minutes each on that trip.
Okay, now that's not found a home yet.
It's not anywhere.
That's 14 episodes waiting to go out and tell people about this adventure.
Yep.
Hey, guys, Discovery, TLC, come on, call him. because this is ready. It's ready.
It's done.
It's done. It's ready to go.
It could be tweaked because I got into filming because when I did the trip, I filmed it, and I thought, well, maybe somebody will ask me for my footage. So I bought a nice camera before the trip, and no one asked. So I go, well, shoot, I'm going to start doing this. So I wrote book 1, got it all done, went to church that day to find out how to spell some words. I'm not the best speller. And halfway through the church service, our house gets burnt down. Long story short, some kid burned our house down while we were in church. And the camera that had all the footage from the trip was on a shelf on top of a hard drive that had the backup. That was the whole trip, the backup. There was nowhere else. It was there.
Wow.
The house fire burnt our house down, and the camera, it was on a bookcase. The bookcase collapsed on the camera. The camera's melted. You could see the hard drive through the camera, to the outside. And you opened the door on the other side, and the buttons still worked. The camera popped the battery out, did some work or whatever, and got all the footage recovered off the camera. And the book I just finished writing was gone. It was completely gone, lost every bit of it. It was on like 4 flash drives, and they're all gone.
They're all gone. Yeah. Oh my Lord, how awful. So, what? Do you have the name for the film yet?
Yeah, the name is called the I Am Second Voyage.
I Am Second Voyage.
They were our sponsors, and most of these boat trips are named after the sponsors. I Am Second, which means God is first. Voyage.
Gotcha.
It was actually, right now it's called the Wounded Hero Voyage, which is the name of the books, but I'm changing it so they all match, because the full name of the trip was the I Am Second Wounded Hero Voyage. My brother was in the Marines and was almost sent to Iraq on that hostage thing like 30 years ago. He was one of the Marines that was supposed to go. 3 Marines died, so the trip was in their honor, and that's why it was the Wounded Hero Voyage.
Wow, wow, the Wounded Hero. Okay, so we're going to move on to, wow, that's pretty deep stuff. So we're going to go ahead and let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's have a little bit of fun. Okay. Okay. So we have a portion of the show we call Clickbait. I sent the girls out and said, find me goofy, fun questions on the internet.
All right.
I'm going to ask my guest, and we're going to see if we can get a great headline.
Okay, give it a shot.
We're going to give it a shot. So we'll just get to know you a little bit. 2 things on your bucket list. This is a guy that is actually like rowed across the Atlantic. What else could you?
I didn't row. We
motorboated. What else is there to do? What are you going to do?
I want to take a motorcycle trip to Alaska.
A motorcycle trip to Alaska.
Yeah.
Good trip.
Yeah, it's things have changed. It's not like it used to be. It would have been a lot harder 20 years ago, but I still want to do it.
Amazing trip, amazing. My son just made a trip, not by motorcycle. He was stationed at Fort Richardson, and him and his wife drove cross country to get there, and they had an amazing time. Amazing, amazing time. So it is fantastic. Okay, this one's always fun. All right, an adventurous guy. He's already been out in the ocean. You know what you need, what you don't need.
Yep.
Going to strand you on a desert island. What 3 things do you want to have with you?
My wife.
She's not staying home this time.
A lot of food because I know what it's like to be hungry.
There you go.
And an island. Food. That's the only 2 you really have to have. I guess warmth. I mean, some kind of material I could build a shelter with.
Some kind of shelter. There you go.
Maybe, I tried to get on Survivor, never got.
Maybe we can get him a camera so he can document that. This time his wife gets to go with him. All right. Well, you're an adventurous guy. What would your animal spirit be?
A wolf.
A wolf.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Unpredictable.
Nice. Unpredictable, and fierce, and just equally as afraid of his wife. Bob, thank you so much. What's coming down the pipe for you? What do you got? Any special projects working on right now?
I got to edit my last trip. I took a trip recently in January from Florida to Guatemala through Mexico, and it's called Burning Daylight. That one is done.
Wow.
It's an internet series. I think there's I can't remember how many episodes. 10 or 12
fantastic.
Episodes. And the guy I went with was moving there. He bought a $200 car. He said if the car was still running by the time he was supposed to move to Guatemala for 8 months, he was going to drive. His wife said he couldn't go alone. My wife said, "Bob, you're going." So I pleased my wife by going on a trip.
Years ago, she said, "There's no way." Now she said, "Get out."
And then he was ready to come back, so he flew me back to Guatemala to drive the car back here, and we just got back about 3 weeks ago, and so I got to start editing that one. That's going to be something crazy. I don't know the name of it, but crazy is going to be in the title somewhere. It's because
of some crazy. So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap it up, and as we do, we're going to say a special thanks to our friends at Space Coast Comics, Something Unique Magazine, Wordfire Press, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Famous Faces and Funnies over here in Melbourne, Florida with Rick Shea, and our great new friend Heather Reed at Asylum Convention Entertainment Services. We're so happy they're sharing these videos on the World Wide Web, helping to share some very creative authors, artists, filmmakers, documentarians of all kinds. I'm GW Pomichter. We've been hanging with Bob Brown, an author, a documentary filmmaker, and an all-around adventurous guy. This is a guy traveling around on motorcycles, on boats. He's seeing the world. That's a great thing. It's a big, wide world, folks, out there on the web. Get to see as much of it as you can and have a great adventure. But before you do that, subscribe. Keep coming back. Log on. Tune in. See who we're hanging with next.